Now the men and women keen to work but struggling to live off the Newstart allowance. They're all over the age of 50 and now make up a third of Newstart recipients.
Too old for work.
Actively looking for, 20 jobs a month.
Too young for the age pension.
I want to work.
Holding little hope of ever finding a job again.
Not having the money to pay your bills is basically, to me, is a social embarrassment. So...
Unemployment is bad enough.
They want to employ young people straight out of college.
Unemployed and being older is devastating.
I might as well terminate my life.
Creating social upheaval in our communities.
You're condemning people to live in poverty for a very long time.
Ask the job experts and they'll tell you.
Every job that's available, over 5 people are out there trying to get that job.
The poverty line in Australia is considered to be $400 a week. The unemployment allowance Newstart is $263 a week.
That was designed at a time when people didn't expect to be out of work for very long, but unfortunately we have a much different employment situation now.
Stand outside a Centrelink office and watch. There's an alarming new trend that few are talking about, but the statistics are increasing rapidly. A third of all Newstart recipients are now aged over 50 years.
When you're older, you are discriminated against.
Now, Newstart was originally set up as a short-term benefit for those, particularly the young, looking for a job, a new start on a career path. But what if you're an older person who's stalled and needing not a new start, but a restart? You have perhaps a mortgage, health cover, car repayments, super to build up. How on earth do you survive and continue to pay all that when you're someone in your 50s or 60s? You don't have a job and get the Newstart allowance of just $37 a day. What's the rent cost you here?
I pay $200 a week.
53-year-old Mel McKenna is an unemployed chef.
And you've got to buy your food?
Food.
Pay your bills?
Any bus or train fares, yeah.
You can't do it.
It's very, very difficult because I've got a big credit card debt.
You bet he has.
$26,000.
Yeah.
Goodness me. Gee. And you use that to live on. That's what you fed yourself.
That's what I have been.
And they take some of this out of your Newstart. So when you get
That's
your
right.
$260 a week, roughly, they take some out of that just to pay this down.
Yeah.
Gee, you're living on nothing.
Pretty much.
In the last year, he has applied for at least 20 jobs a month, with not one offer.
Yeah, I'd been suddenly, without warning, made redundant, and a job that I knew like the back of my hand.
Many mature age have found themselves unemployed due to the changes in traditional industries like manufacturing. For 17 years, Rhonda McLeod worked for Sunbeam before her job and the factory were closed down. She's been out of work and living on Newstart for 2 years.
Where I thought I'd get a job easily, that's not the case at all anymore. The future's not looking very rosy, it's looking pretty bleak.
But she considers herself fortunate for the community housing unit she has been given that takes just a small percentage of her Newstart allowance, and the friends and family that support her financially. Otherwise,
I'd be out on the street.
desperate for paid work, many older experienced managers and white-collar workers are accepting low-skilled jobs such as traffic controllers and shelf stackers.
Well, I was basically a leader and, now I'm just a no one.
Andrew Ralph was once a leading technician at Telstra.
I was a valued member of society. I'm now a forgotten member of society.
The 54-year-old works for a charity for miserable pay to supplement his Newstart allowance.
Good, I get $20.80 for coming here for 15 hours per week.
Yet he still has a house and a family to care for.
A lot of people that talk to me feel like they're being left behind, they're being forgotten, they're not being supported.
Green Senator Rachel Siewert says if something doesn't change soon, there's going to be an economic disaster for government, with a generation of poor people going into retirement.
And they certainly can't afford health insurance, and that's the time that they may in fact need their health insurance. And they can't continue to contribute to their super.
It destroys your pride, your confidence. It hacks away at you every day.
Ricky Bartell says she is another mature, long-term unemployed person through no fault of her own and tired of being labelled by government as a leaner.
And I want to be in a job. And I want to be able to say to people, I can go on a holiday, I can do this, or have retirement funds. But life happens, Mr. Morrison.
Cassandra Goldie from the Council for Social Services and Senator Siewert say 3 things need to be done urgently to help our mature unemployed on Newstart.
It needs to be increased by at least $50 per week. The government right now wants to cut it by $4.40 per week.
People aren't being provided with the skills for the modern workplace, and that may be some of the internet skills that you need. You know, jobs have changed so radically.
Once you turn 45, there's a real experience of discrimination. You are considered to be too old in many cases. Well, that's got to stop.
With age comes wisdom, which is true, and I think you're a lot more reliable as well.
I have experience, qualifications, 30 years of working in the industry. I have charm, I have wit.
At 62, Rhonda is looking forward to a slightly better life in 3 years.
You'd be better off on the old age pension. Are you looking forward to the pension?
Oh, yeah, much. I've had friends that have been in the same situation and counting down the days.
Really?
And then it's like a celebration. I never thought that I would ever say, I want to be older.
In about 2 weeks, the Newstart allowance will be increased in line with the CPI. It's expected to be enough to buy a loaf of bread.